on her Facebook profile, a show of a woman who loves to show her smile. But her expressions in the court tell of a not-so-smiley situation. Roslyn Asena lives in Nairobi's Embakasi South constituency and says she represents the woman from the urban slum. The single mother of 3 will be submitting to the court of public interest on the food prices matter from the consumer's perspective. And what of the trader? What led them to raising their prices? Sami Mokangi has been running a restaurant in Mwingi Town, Kitui County for 15 years. He says this is the toughest year for a food vendor to stomach, a business that has moved from the frying pan into, well, fewer plates. What would the discourse on food prices be without the producers? Various farmers from the food basket region, that is the Rift Valley, will be making their submissions to capture what, from the producer's perspective, is contributing to high food prices. And we have to get the big picture in frame, the government perspective in light of Serikali's idea. Lawrence Omwaka, the Chief Administrative Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock, Fisheries, Cooperatives and Blue Economy, will make his submissions to the court. Welcome to News Court, the court of public interest. Your Honor, Justice Wanjiko, today we are prosecuting the food prices situation, the high food prices situation. And for some, it's a situationship between hunger and anger. Now, the good lady's case, whose deeper context we shall get in just a bit, is not unique to her, you know. Now, we are going to get some further context before we get into the conversation with her. And this is about getting some of the specific food prices when you compare this year and a few years back. We submit to the court our food basket, comprising of various basic foodstuffs to allow us to get context on the changes in the prices. We compare mid-2017 and mid-2022 average prices. A 2-kilogram pack of maize meal has moved from an average of 90 shillings to 200 shillings in 5 years. A kilogram of wheat flour from 60 to 100 shillings. Half a liter of milk in a pouch has moved from 53 shillings to 59 shillings. Cooking fat, half a kilogram tub, has moved to 219 shillings from 110. A 400-gram loaf of bread has moved from 49 shillings to 59 shillings. A kilogram of rice has moved from 217 to 260 shillings on average, while the sweetener in our basket is sugar, a kilogram of which is retailing at an average of 125 shillings, down from 186 shillings 5 years ago. A kilogram of beef is now retailing at an average of 550 shillings, up 100 shillings. A bunch of sukuma wiki is going for an average of 25 shillings, 5 shillings more than it was 5 years ago. 4 mid-sized tomatoes and 4 mid-sized onions were each going at an average of 40 shillings, but now they are going for 45 and 50 shillings respectively. This brings the total cost of our food basket to 1,692 shillings, up from a total of 1,315 shillings in mid-2017. This is an increase of 377 shillings. Your Honor, now that we have context and we can get into the lady's story and understand her situations, allow me to invite Leila Mohammed to make her submissions to this court.
Thank you, Your Honor. The general feeling and reality backed by numbers is that food prices are high, too high for anybody's liking. While still, at a time when the cost of living is puncturing pockets left, right and center, we can look at the numbers, the data, the statistics, name it. We have to bear in mind that these are not just numbers, they are people. And Roslyn represents those people. So, Your Honor, allow me to engage her as she tells us her experience as one of the people behind those numbers. Roslyn, do rise up. Tell us about your family.
I am a single mother of 3. My son is sandwiched between the 2 girls, and both of them are currently in their above 18.
As we see them, we see a representative of them here as we sit in this courtroom. Tell us about your day-to-day enabling them in terms of feeding them from morning to evening. Can you put 2 or 3 meals on the table with 1,000 shillings like you have discussed?
It is very hard to put a meal on the table with 1,000 shillings. I'm used to buying like a liter or 2 so that it can take me for at least 2 or 3 weeks. But currently, I cannot buy a liter. If I buy it at 300, it will mean I will not buy sugar. It will mean I will not buy milk. It will mean I will not buy flour for ugali. So with 1,000 shillings, it is not easy. Maybe it can cater for breakfast and lunch. And it has made us to go by 1 meal at a day. It's like nowadays we go for only supper. Then in the morning we cook black tea, which is you just put in a little sugar just to make you move to the next hour. Mm-hmm. So, and that one is for one who is lucky. I call myself lucky. Mm-hmm. But for those who are not lucky, people are starving from where I reside. Mm-hmm. Yes. Considering all those choices that you've had to make over time, tell us what have been the significant decisions that you have had to make. Nowadays, I have to go for kienyeji. You understand the mboga like mrenda. You don't need mafuta, the cooking oil. So it's like we have to keep off some of these things so that we don't enjoy our daily food the way we should. So if we don't take it to kika drive for like that whole week, then it's like we are also missing out on the nutritional part of it. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to nutrition, we don't even say it. We are just here to survive. What would be your word to government today? It's good for them to prioritize what is important for the common mwananchi. They need to put in mechanism to forecast. At least let's understand, if it is the dry spell, how long is it going to take? And when is it coming? I don't know if the weatherman is trying to do that for us. If we can know when it is coming, we can plan earlier. Government needs to look at the salaries. Nowadays, where I stay, mama fua haongezewi pesa kwa sababu kuna food prices zimepanda juu. Yeye kama alikuwa anafua bese na 200 shillings, hiyo ndio anafua nayo hata sahi. It is because the owner wa hiyo nyumba mwenye amempatia hiyo kazi hawezi kumuongezea pesa because hata yeye hajaongezewa. So food prices are high, the salary remains low. Thank you very much for your concerns, the concerns of many Kenyans across the globe. The state has said that the climate change issues and the Ukraine-Russia invasion are some of the key issues that are causing food on your table to be as expensive as it has ever been. Your Honor, a real life, a real struggle, a real predicament. For me, I rest.
Your Honor, there are, as you can hear from Rosalind's story, more echoes on the plates. But it's the same for wallets, purses, and the tills of sellers of various foodstuffs. I now invite Nina Shaban to take us through the tales from the tills. Nina.
Your Honor, there have been heroic stories of people who have done some outstanding businesses, building them from humble resources to empires. But as we speak, some are stuck in the rut between these two ends, and they are far much closer to the lower end. Let's listen to a trader in the food business who has agreed to share this story.
Mimi niko hapa Mwingi, nafanya biashara ya hoteli. Na vile maisha iko ni ngumu sana. Juu kila kitu kimepanda, ngano imepanda, mafuta imepanda. Hii hapo nyuma hii ilikuwa na 40 bob. Kwa saa hii ni 100. Saa nyingine unaambiwa ni 120. Na unanunua tu. Chapati tulikuwa tunauza na 20 bob. Saa hii ni 40, 50, tunaendelea vibaya. Hata customer saa hii wanateta. Tukiwauzia chakula ama chai ama maziwa wanateta. Kila mtu anateta. Wakati wa hapo nyuma tulikuwa tunapata kakitu, lakini saa hii ni kungangana. Saa nyingine watu wengine wanafunga, wengine wanafungua, wanafunga hivyo tu. Hii mwaka ndio mbaya sana juu hata hakuna mafuta. Wakati mwingine mafuta ilikuwa natoka kama 20 liters ilikuwa natoka na 25, lakini saa hii ni 63, ngano ilikuwa inatoka 13 bando moja, 13 saa hii ni 23. Kwa hivyo saa hii hata nani akiangalia, ukiangalia kila mtu akiangalia naona hii kitu si ya kawaida, hatujui ni nini, hatujui serikali ni nini inaangalia, hatujui wanafanya nini na hii pesa. Na hata barabara ikitengenezwa, hata nini ifanywe, bila chakula hakuna maisha.
Your Honor, the trader has spoken and shared of the reality at the counters, a reality that is not unique.
Your Honor, let's get some better context on how a simple plate is increasingly feeling like a platter of privilege, even for the low-income earners. So we go to the farm and ask the producers. Your Honor, allow me to invite Lois Wangoi to make her submissions to this court.
Your Honor, the Rift Valley is considered the country's bread basket, and I have gathered some accounts from various interested parties, specifically the farmers or producers, if you like. I asked them why, from where they sit, the price of food is going up, and my lords and ladies, these are the submissions they bring to this court.
Sisi sasa tukiwa wakulima, tuko na shida ya bei ya mboji au mbolea au uite chochote. Wanaohusika na agriculture, hebu na mfanye cost of production na ongeza 25%. Angalia katika nchi za dunia, mkulima anachungwa kulingana na vile analisha nchi. Lakini hapa Kenya, a farmer is looked down upon and is considered a person who is intellectually challenged, but in the real sense, they are not intellectually challenged.
Kwanza maneno ya COVID ndio liangaisha sisi, hakuna kitu na hawajaweka subsidy.
Tunaomba serikali iweze kuintervene kwa sasa. Wasipo intervene, ile rush ikifika itakuwa vigumu zaidi kwa wakulima kuweza kuendelea, na hii nchi itakuwa na njaa na hakutakuwa na food security. Kwa sasa tunafahamu chenye kinaendelea kwa ulimwengu wa nje na ile vita ya Russia, kwa hivyo inafaa tujipange. Tunaomba serikali kuu na serikali ya county waweze kuangalia upande wa ukulima bila kusinzia wakati wowote.
Please, kama utaki sisi kuwa beggars, kwa watu omba, kwa watu chokora, kwa taoni hii, angalia ugali, angalia jinsi tunapopata pato. Pato letu la kila siku ni mahindi, na mahindi cost yake ya fertilizer iko juu sana.
Tafadhali hebu na urejeshe subsidy wakulima wapate mahindi na tutalisha nchi yetu ya Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda na hata Sudan watashiba.
Your Honor, on the streets to show the difference between theory and practicals, people say kwa ground vitu ni different. And from my clients, we can see that for whatever comes from the ground, the price is indeed different.
Well, that's something to dig our minds into, Your Honor. And onto the policy position and the possible solutions. Your Honor, I would like to now call to the stand Lawrence Omwaka, who is the Chief Administrative Secretary for Agriculture, Livestock, Fisheries and Cooperatives. Thank you for joining us, Bwana CAS. And you've listened to some of the submissions by, the Wananchi who've spoken to us. What is your general feeling, first of all, about the situation we are in terms of food prices?
I can say that the prices are high, and I think it's very important that we have this kind of program so that we're able to explain to our citizens what's happening. The prices are not high only in Kenya. The prices are high all over the world. As a country, we are not self-sufficient in terms of cereals, and we import a big percentage from those countries. So when they have a problem, then scarcity is created. And when there's scarcity, prices go up. Now, the same is also affecting the country at the moment. For the last 2 years, drought has really ravaged the country. There are also conflicts, like you mentioned. I think one of the presenters mentioned about Ukraine and Russia. That conflict has also affected, because now the wheat prices for wheat products and other cereals have also gone up. We also get ammonia, which is used for production of fertilizer from Poland, Russia, and Ukraine. And because of the wars, now we can't get ammonia. Now, if we can't get ammonia, then we have to buy it from elsewhere, which cannot meet the demand. So it becomes very expensive.
So where are we buying it from now?
We are importing from other European countries, Switzerland, and so forth. The price was moved from 3,000 a bag of fertilizer to 7,000. After the government intervention, it has gone to 5,000.
How much will this bag of fertilizer be now?
It will be calculated, but it may drop, but not really much. It may just come to about 3,500, 4,000, around there. But there are also other reasons: high cost of electricity, the word increase in fuel prices.
So does that mean, as it stands, we are not looking towards food prices coming down, at least to where we knew they were?
Actually, food prices all over the world will continue growing, but individual countries will come in with specific measures to reduce or to make it slightly better, where people can be able to accommodate.
Don't you think it's a bit concerning for Kenyans, like when you listen to what Roslyn said, that the cost of food is going up, but incomes are not growing, or if they are, it's not at a commensurate rate?
I don't want to be like Uganda at one time, during the time of Idi Amin Dada. You know, they said there's no money. He told them, print more money and give people. We're saying there's no money. You know, if you do that, we create what you call inflation. There's a lot of money and there's no food. And if there's a lot of money and there's no food, it will also create a crisis. Or if there's a lot of food and there's no money, again, it creates a crisis. That's inflation. So the government balances. And now you cannot just increase salaries. You must increase salaries when you know where you are going to get it from. Others will increase, pay for 2 months, and then people will go with those salaries for a long time.
Thank you very much, Bwana CAS. Your Honor, so many submissions. And many Wananchi desire days when he doesn't feel a need to be fed. They desire and aspire to have brighter days ahead. So they seek to plug into the economic growth sockets, but some starve as they dance to the dirges of echoes in their pockets. They are served with empty promises and knee-jerk reactions to date. And some, they see graves filling up faster than plates. They are haunted by the cost of living. They could call it the ghost of living. Your Honor, some of these problems for the poor are about poor leadership and dealerships. Cartels that can tell that they can't end up in a cell. This, Your Honor, Justice Wanjiku, is not just to invoke a grudge. It's just to paint a picture, table evidence, and let you, Mwananchi, be the judge. And that is News Court.